have you done for me lately? It's Coons. What have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, the only thing we owe them.
Hey, good evening, family. I'm gonna cut right into it. Welcome everyone for Let's Talk 2, along with Dr. Short's channel, for our wrap up for 2024. Dr. Short is here, and we're gonna get right into our conversation.
Well,
what's up, Dr. Short?
2024, a bad year for whores. A lot of hoes got taken down this year. I'm really excited about what's his name? Vivek Vasectomy or Vivek Scamaswamy and Eat My Butt or Elon Musk. A lot of hoes are getting embarrassed and shamed. This has been a year of hoe shaming. I think next year will be a year of pimp shaming. And we already know one pimp that's lined up with Diddy. Oh, yes, well, no. Someone said, and this year has been very interesting. It has you doing things that I never had to do. In fact, I'm going to salute you like I did Brother Dewan B. And as much as I'm fighting against stage 4 cancer, I can abuse my brain cells for a couple of months to bring my PSA down. So this THC-laced gummy, and this is real stuff here. You out in the street, this is it. You're an expert, man. You probably could tell me how many grams this thing has. I have one, so I feel good in the next year. For all of you potheads, all you black junkies, when my parents were working, trying to get people off of heroin, this is the first year I've ever had anything to do with cannabis. Cannabis normally causes me hives in my throat. It makes me sick being around it. However, I tell you, in fact, one of my first has been a wild year. I had my cannabis gummies. I have two types. I have the high-powered one, and these are like the welfare special. These are just CBD with no THC. That's the stuff people really want. I don't want to get better. And you don't have medical problems. You want to kill brain cells because you're tired to think about being black. I'm doing this because I have metastatic cancer and I want to get rid of it. But I had these and this, and I had some oil, and I have some right here that's really good. I think it's got like 10,000 milligrams. But when I got up to go to church and I had to preach on Sunday, and I said, damn it, those studs next door are getting high again. Damn it, they're always smoking. And I started sniffing. That's not from next door, dude. Says, oh my God. The cannabis had come through my pores. I was smelling a little skunky, but it was too late. And, my ride was coming to take me to church. And then I said, you know what? Thank God church people aren't that smart. Because somebody would smell this stuff and me and say, that brother was full of the Holy Spirit. He was high before he got there. And it was really embarrassing because I had asked by mistake my favorite. I have a couple of friends that are cops. My cousin Matthew Fogg, who's the most highly decorated United States U.S. Marshal in history, is my cousin. And then I have a friend in New York. You've heard of 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement That Care. Mm-hmm. Okay, my buddy Michael Graves is in it. I have a brother down in Atlanta named Cersei. And in D.C., I have what I would call, I don't know what to call him, Lone Wolf, And Lone Wolf got to church after I'd finished, and it was basically over when he walked in. And I thought about it and said, you know what? Cops. Cops are like assholes. They never change unless you're gay. And they don't. Um, I said, this dude's gonna smell this cannabis because he has a cop nose. And he's gonna wonder if I got high. He's gonna go right back into asshole police mode and wish he had some handcuffs and stuff back because when he first started policing, weed was illegal. And I says, let me just get him aside and tell him, yes, I smell like weed. I didn't smoke anything. I hate smoking, but I did take cannabis gummies, and some of them have sugar on it. And the ones in here, the ones that don't have the THC are nice. They have a lot more sweetness than the ones with the THC. So I guess if they put THC, they skimped on the sugar. If you guys make gummies, don't be stingy because the shit's overpriced anyway, and sugar doesn't cost that much. So you could put a few more grains on this thing. I've seen jujubes for a lot less with a lot more sugar on it. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if I'm a diabetic. Okay, please put the sugar on it. If you're gonna make it, you're gonna make a cannabis gummy. Make it tasty. I mean, they're even making the fentanyl pills that kill you look good and taste good too. I heard they mix it with sweet tarts or something. You can do that with the gummies. Anyway, and I could see his nostrils are all inflamed. And yes, he did smell the weed. Then he was relaxed. You see, yeah, can you imagine? So this is year you got me messing with weed.
Brother Juan J. Johnson, if you out there in the atmosphere, let us know.
This had me. So this year, because of sickness, I've had fentanyl. I had white teenager or suburban teenager, Oxycontin, and I could get more. I don't want any more. I'm too old. In fact, in my condition, can you imagine me trying to snatch someone's pocketbook with stage 4 cancer? You run out of breath, get down the block with a purse and get tired. Say, damn. And you can't even take the money out. So that's it's fentanyl. I had some Prince, what's that stuff? Percocet, and now it's weed. The only thing I haven't had is like cocaine and heroin. But Denzel Washington can take care of that. See how he got baptized up where you are, and that's so fake. So this has been the year for holes. Look at how Kamala Harris and all those stupid boule holes got played like you gonna pass off this Hindu bitch off as a black woman. Y'all lost. Y'all got your asses kicked. So holes lost there. All the holes connected to Diddy have been exposed, male and female. I mean, Biden's been exposed as a whole. All the holes lying about whether he was in his right mind. If you were a hole, you lost this year. I mean, I'm just telling you, Hole in Syria, the dude pimping all the money, had all the sports cars and shit. They turned him out. And this person's trying to tell me, well, anyway, let me just maybe this will make me feel better. The thing that was really amazing to me was that the weed didn't make me high. At first, I was afraid to take this stuff because I don't want to be high. As I said, I grew up around junkies, seeing people overdose and shit. So I was just absolutely terrified. It took me like 2 months to get the courage to use it, especially after my PSA was sky high. I said, oh shit, I'm going to take this. Because I don't want to have to sterilize me. This doesn't taste so bad. Now, that's one, and I have some more. And don't worry about me, y'all. I got a bunch of these. I got Narcan. I do. I've got a bunch of these. I go to one of those little urban clinics so they always give out anti-drug shit. Great stuff. So if you're a junkie, maybe I can send you one so you can have a spare. But, and so let me take these so I can feel good. So, this is how most of the ignorant black people escaping from reality, not dealing with truth, don't want to stand up. Can I fake and be phony like the other coons, always using something, being drunk,
Being
not
of the world.
So I may as well. I'm having keeping it real, a black experience, messing with substances.
You having the real black experience, huh?
I'm black now. Now it doesn't matter if I went to Harvard, right? I'm wondering if I eat the whole thing, maybe I could get love like Ofaga. Do more. This things are good. I
What's
just
up, family in the chat? What y'all doing this New Year's Eve? I'm glad y'all could join us for this discussion.
mm, mm.
I'm glad y'all doing exactly what Dr. Short and myself is doing. We're having a good time at home.
HEC, weed is good. Mm. Amen. Where's my tambourine at? Mm. Mm. Oh, these are good. Mm. I had to have cancer to mess with this stuff. And some of y'all been doing this since y'all were kids. That's why you guys are schizophrenic. So I guess when I'm old, you know how old people do it anyway. I'll be old when I'm 60 in February. You know how old people share medication to get each other high and shit
Yeah.
and assisted living. When you're old, you can use drugs. If you live to be my age, young people watching, you can get fucked up once you're 60. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to put you in jail. It costs too much to lock you up. Mm, this is good. Have some coconut water. And I even had to celebrate Donald Trump. And then they're going to run all the illegals out the country. I had my first bags of chili cheese Fritos.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
This chili cheese, I've never had this. These were in our share box. These people are leaving the damn country because there wouldn't have been none of these. Now they had a surplus because these people already begin to go the fuck back to where they came from. Thank you, Jesus. Let me get my tambourine. Hallelujah. Holman. Holman is the new James Brown. He's soul brother number one. If he wants to send people's asses back to where they came from, please come to DC. In fact, if you could deny her mayor citizenship, send that bitch back to where she came from. In fact, just do African ancestry, whichever tribe in Africa she wants. Just leave us alone.
Dr. Short, black side, black man South, black man slide profile said chili and cheese Fritos are God level.
Hallelujah. mm, mm, mm. Mm. So yes, I have my Narcan and I have my oil. I have lots of cannabis, so I'm gonna get some more. And
so they give you Narcan too?
At the place I go to get checkups, yes. I've got box I can get. I know you need that shit up in Pennsylvania. Man.
Look, you could just walk in the store, they give you supplies of that stuff and just say you keep it in your car in case you see anybody going out.
Well, as my neighborhood is turning white, I may be able to save someone that doesn't love me. But anyway, I'm supposed to love those that hate you. I'm a Christian. Stop hating, guys. Love everybody. But I got these, but I can't wait. I have someone in Hollywood who's going to get me all the cannabis oil I need. I just haven't sent them a bill. I just want to see what it is. But these gummies are good. And you know what? My mother, she made a mistake. And she started getting these things. She got too many. And my mother had about 47. She has 47 of these things of cannabis gummies. And I'm going to kill at least 10 or 12 cans of this. And I can like do 4 or 5 at a time. You know, I'm not getting the munchies from this. However, I am fixing, and I'm not trying to finish a Muslim, but I have 4 pork chops upstairs and I am going to eat them. I don't think that the weed has increased my appetite, but it has made me more calm. I don't hate coons as much as I did. Once I started taking the cannabis gummies, I stopped being angry with coons. I basically accept the fact that they're going to be wiped out at some point by some kind of vaccine or whatever. And so we can coexist as they go as lemmings over the cliff. Yeah, my mom has a big stash. I couldn't believe it. And she had it right there in the dining room. And she's afraid to have too many because she doesn't want the benefit of, she doesn't want to get high, and yet she bought them. You know, my mother's a silent generation, boomer, borderline type, and they're worried, like, you know, this year I made a bunch of turkeys, and I always make turkey with beer. My mother is such a teetotaler, I guess because my great grandfather was a Garveyite. but then again, got run out of Georgia. He became a wino towards the end of his life, run after young girls. I hope I don't end up like that. My grandfather's still trying to like drop it like it was hot into his 80s, man. So all of a sudden starts drinking and chasing women. And see, that's what happens if you go to church too much. You need to moderate. Moderate going to church. You sit too long, listen to an ignorant nigga that's trying to sleep with your woman and your kids. It could drive someone crazy. And they get 10% of your money? Yeah. Mm-hmm. My grandfather went nuts and got him some young girls. They were spending his money. He was happy. So my mother doesn't like any kind of alcohol, anything except for isopropyl alcohol. She don't even use much of that. So I have to sneak beer in the house to make turkey. She loves it with the beer, but you can't tell her you used it. So I have to hide the can and crush it because she'll look in the recycle thing. I mean, my mother should have been a narc. You know, all your friends in jail would have all been in the hole had she been there because you're so damn nosy.
She know everything that's going on, Dr. Short, in the neighborhood.
Yeah, they'll go through your drawers and stuff. What's that package there? Damn, I'm 60. It's mine. It's none of your business. Now, if she knew that there was cannabis upstairs, she'd probably throw it out when I'm leaving and act like she didn't know where it was. But anyway.
Let's hope she don't find it thinking they regular gummy bears and be like, oh, I used to eat gummy bears. Let me try one. Nah.
No, if actually the thing, my mother's problem with it was that they were too sweet. If they were more bitter and seemed more like medicine, she'd probably take them all. Then maybe she'd be having the munchies. Anyway, I love my mother.
So Dr. Short, it's been a minute since we did a show together. Been a lot going on, a lot to wrap up.
You're right.
We got so many. We got our stuff here, and I know you have been getting on me because you have been wanting to talk about Syria.
Okay,
well, you want to talk about Africa, Syria. You guys in the chat, what y'all want to talk about? Dr. Short is here, and he's going to share some things with us. Wrap up 2024, like he said. This is the year of the hose is down.
No, hose lost. And this brother mentioned Cam. I got mac and cheese, greens, pork chops, and I got wild rice upstairs. So when this is all done, I'll usher in the new year by violating religious tradition, but hell, I may as well. The Jews call it white steak. But we could talk about Syria. We can talk about Africa. We could talk about here. I mean, the person of the year are the black men that didn't suck Barack Obama's ass. I'm so happy with the black people that didn't go with Ofaga. I'm so happy, all you black men that didn't vote for Kamala Harris, all you black women that didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I don't care if you voted for Cornel West. I don't care if you voted for the Tidy Bowl man. You didn't vote for Kamswala. And I had so many songs this year. I mean, in fact, I'll do two just to it's a double fuck you to Kamala and the Boule. And you guys, since it's just after Christmas, I'll just treat you to my song. And it goes like this. Kamala's a freak who drops her drawers, her feet in the air without a pause. She's going down on men and boys. That's why the Democrats call her Joy. Ho, 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 Willie's ho. Ho, 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 boy, she blows up through the ranks. She trick, the hoe that were down on Willie's dick. Ho, 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 Willie's ho. Ho, 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 boy, she blows up through the ranks. She trick, the hoe that went down on Willie's dick. And then my doo-wop song, which was Kamala, Kamala, la la. Kamala, Kamala, la la. Kamala, Kamala, la la. Kamala, Kamala, la la. Sucks dick, Kamala, 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 la la. Kamala, Kamala, la la. Kamala, Kamala, la la. Kamala, Kamala, la la. Sucks dick, Kamala.
Well, you've been on her, Dr. Short. Yeah, and
Because I've been honest, she's no good, and I'm down on Vivek Ramaswamy. That sorry ass man. I was on the show. I told you he wasn't shit,
said
and now
Americans are lazy. Americans are
God,
lazy.
I thank God for white women that don't like his scammer ass. Laura Loomer, I don't care how racist she is, she's my hero. Knock that Brahminical asshole's ass down. So yes, I thank all the suburban white women, soccer moms. I don't care if they're the daughters of the Confederacy. Kick Elon and Scamaswamy or vasectomy's ass out of politics. We didn't vote for his ass. And it's interesting that Elon Musk didn't drive the trash truck. Ramaswamy did. Show you just a coon with the dot on your forehead. That's all I got to say about him.
Mm.
No H-1B1 anything. There are not enough of those jobs for people trained in high tech here. In fact, if you're so good at fixing shit up, why is India a shithole? How come India doesn't have enough toilets? I have friends in India, as you know. And a lot of houses don't have toilets. These people still shit in holes in the ground. If you go to India, you have to take all kinds of shots for cholera. Cholera because there's shit in the water. There's shit everywhere. Shit in the air. And they're going to come over here and run stuff. Have you ever looked at the videos and noticed they have rats and shit running through the restaurant? In fact, there's a Hindu god that Ramaswamy believes in called Rajputana. And it is a god of rats. They have a temple dedicated to the worship of rats.
Mm.
And he's going to fix shit? You know what? Maybe he could be mayor of DC or New York where we have lots of rats. But otherwise, he's no good for the rest of the country, okay? Ramaswamy, you're not shit. I don't like you. I'm sick and tired of all you fake-ass Brahminical Indian racists coming over here trying to make shit hard for Black Americans. You're going to kiss white folk on the ass until you get power, then you'll turn on them. And for all the white folk, if you think that you're a Brahmin, you're not. You're an untouchable. They're light-skinned untouchables. You are you don't have a caste. So they grin at you, and they figured this out, white folk listening. They figured out white Americans hate Black Americans so much, they'll help anybody as long as they attack Black Americans. They think they're cool. And see, Ramaswamy, he had his Dunkin' Donuts angry customer wake-up call. Okay. And so, or his Holiday Inn wake-up call, whatever it is. So,
7-Eleven. 7-Eleven.
yes, I mean, and wherever else that they are, just like scamming. So, you could take your tandoori bread eating ass back to where you came from. We're tired of you. And in fact, it's no surprise to me that someone from the subcontinent was a person set on fire in the subway, and it wasn't a Black American that did it. See, Spanish speakers and all, they don't dig y'all either. They don't want you. And, I'm not anti-Indian, but, you got to bring that bullshit religion. There's so many gods, you can't name them all. So they have to have a god that sucks dick and all that. I mean, they probably do. I don't want to know the name. It probably is Obama. But anyway, Jimmy Carter, let me do him. I want to thank everybody so much for supporting Rosin in our older years. I wasn't the best president, but I was for human rights, for the American people. As we project to the world, America is so important that we remember that I only served one term, but I built a lot of houses for poor people I wouldn't live next door to. So as you remember me and my wife, and the 4 years in which you didn't vote for me, and I was never as bitter as Donald Trump, I'm on my way to glory, and I don't believe that 47 will be there. Deuces, America. I'm out.
So, Dr. Short, we ain't got to spend much time. I know most people have heard about what Ramaswamy said while you
Yeah, to hell with him. Let's
going
move
in on
on.
him. Let me ask you. We discussed earlier when we were on the phone. We were talking about the lady who got burned up on Coney Island subway station, and then another man was on fire mysteriously in Penn Station. He didn't die. They just said he was on fire.
And what about the person set on fire in North Carolina?
Yeah, another person set on fire in North Carolina.
So I don't know. Maybe they're trying to bring the Ohio players back. Fire. Mm, 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 fire. The
So,
way you walk.
so
And
Curtis Sliwa, who was the founder of the Guardian Angels, and he ran
yeah.
for mayor one time. Anybody
Hmm.
know about Curtis Sliwa? Curtis Sliwa been around for a long time. The man got to be about 90. Uh,
Hmm.
he said that the Guardian Angels will be going in the subways of New York City. And I remember as a kid, they used to be in the subways. And you were sharing some stuff about the subways.
Oh yeah, man. Look, um, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just being honest. I remember the first time. Well, no, there's one time before, but the second time I went to New York was in 1972, and it was wild. Parents and folk holding you, people, excuse me, I want to fuck you in a cup of coffee. What you say? And people like doing this shit. It was wild being on the train. My brother was a minor, and this white woman was fondling my brother on the train. I mean, it was like, wow, this is like the subway. I mean, when I went back to New York when I was older, I was shocked at how much cleaner and safer. There's not spray paint everywhere. They used to have rats in the subway cars. The rats would jump and take your food, take
Yes,
your grocery in
yes,
the damn subway.
yes.
Rats that attack people in the subway. You had junkies, people nodding off. Excuse me, my needle in my arm. Okay, good. I mean, so you had people like Stone. I mean, people selling drugs. People having sex on the train.
Yeah, New York City subways, for anybody in the chat, if you were in the subways in the 80s, share your experience.
70.
Tell us your experience, 70s, 80s. Share your experience. I know
It
I
was
learned the
wild.
subway system. I learned the subway system in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was getting cleaned up then. But I remember, I'm going to name this name, and a lot of people don't remember this name,
Yes.
but Bernard Getz.
Oh, I remember Bernard Get. I mean, people would expose themselves on the subway, come in with pants that was something that you would look like they were fully dressed, but they had something around their knees like a garter. So they had the bottom part, and they would open and expose. They would do this stuff on the train. You look up if someone's flashing their ass or something or do it. And there's just too many people. The police are like, they don't even want to get involved. There's just too many people doing wrong to
Yeah.
counter it.
So,
And so people tell you, you need to learn how to live with stuff. So I mean, people did all kinds
it
of
was,
stuff.
I remember back then, what used to, even though it was 42nd Street, it wasn't much of the subway. You just come from New Jersey, right?
Mhm.
Dr. Show, but when I did get on the subway, we just had to go to 145th, then transfer over to get to the Bronx. I mean, you learn the subway system because anybody that knows New York subway, once you're down in the subway system, you don't have to pay no more. You're just there and you can just go from station to station, train to train, and do whatever. Right. But it was so bad back then.
It
And
was bad.
now they're telling us all this crime that's going on, people getting burned up. But it's cameras, more police is down in the subway. It's
They used to
clean.
set people on fire if you demanded a fare. They just set you if you didn't have the money, they'd pour some gas or something into the booth and set the person
Yeah,
on fire. I mean,
yeah.
that's just how it is.
They take rubbing alcohol and they spray rubbing alcohol on you and throw a
Set,
match in there.
set your ass on fire. Really? I'm not making this up.
So why?
And I'm not lying about the woman grinding on my brother. My brother's a minor, and she's looking right at my mother.
It used to be
Oh,
so
nasty.
anything goes in them New York City subways. And like the brother Greg said, and we discussed earlier, when the Guardian Angels used to be down there, the Guardian Angels don't have weapons. They used to be playing police,
Martial
and
art.
they knew martial arts. And the ironic thing is the Guardian Angels died down because the violence went down. I mean, it was
Right.
rough in the 70s, 80s. early 90s got cleaned up, like I said, but it was so bad in the subway system in New York City that everybody talked. If you mentioned Subway in another city, they probably wouldn't go to it because they had a bad experience in New York City
Right.
subway.
And you know what? Who contributed to the subway getting safer? Donald Trump and the revitalization of Lower Manhattan.
Yeah, Central Park area.
Donald Trump demanded that stuff be cleaned up. People in New York, a lot of them hate Trump, but Trump and them fixed New York up.
Him and all them other developers, they changed the Lower East Side where Central Park is at. And this is just, it ties into what everybody talk about, the Exonerated Five. That whole movement was a crime wave. What people don't understand about Exonerated Five is that it was a bunch of muggings going on. And they wanted to buy that real estate across from Central Park.
And something else. Listen to what you just said. That thing occurred, I think, in 89 or 90.
89. I think 89.
So look, just at the point where people are trying to turn New York around, you have what appears to be a group of the accused were Black young men that sexually raped and basically lynched a white woman. This is just, I'm sorry, people, for you young people. My friend, I knew people, parents would come to school and assault teachers because we had a PE class and we had the square dance. And if you even, and square dance, you had to have a female partner. If there were almost no Black girls at school, that meant you had to dance with white. People come to school, beat the teacher's ass for letting a Black kid touch their daughter's hand. I'm not that old. So I'm trying to think, for people that are ready to take it there over kids doing what they're asked to do in school, how did that process in the minds of people that someone was like brutally raped, and the way it was portrayed? Hey, it's open season on white folk, in particular white women at jobs.
Literally, Dr. Short, and I don't tell many people this. One of my friends were friends with all of them. And when that incident happened, his mother actually moved him to New Jersey when I met him. So we would talk about the case a lot. And what a lot of people don't know, and like you said, Dr. Short, that was the end all be all crime that happened. That was enough is enough. That particular crime was like, oh shit, we got a major problem in Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
And
you had Jenkins running for mayor. So the first Black mayor, maybe should have been the last. I don't know what it is when certain Black people get positions like president. I don't care if there's never another Black president after Obama.
So the thing was, we got to clean up Central Park, and you know, they got arrested. A couple of them admitted to the crime. They admitted to the crime
because certain people said they touched the boob and all that. Did they do it? Were they completely innocent? Or was it a little bit or some of it?
They were completely innocent, but they had already they had one of them under the pressure, like the movie says, and it was true. One of them under the pressure of his father admitted to guilt.
Mm.
So when everybody, because people try to rewrite history. So for those that remember, every newspaper was like, they finally got him. They shut this ring down that's been robbing people, and finally they got this person. Now think about this, 89, 90, a bunch of colored people, Black people, and it's a white victim.
Mm.
So that was the end all be all. So nobody was against this. We do it now. We hear it's a vigilante in our communities. We want them arrested. We don't think about the color of them. We'll be wanting them arrested. We don't say, don't do nothing to them. That's such and such son, or that's my son, or whatever. So when they got arrested, it wasn't no big fallout. It was.
Well, it depends. There was fallout among some.
Yeah.
but a whole bunch of people because they wanted Dinkins to win the mayoralty. You had Giuliani on the scene. Remember,
He was the DA.
he was a DA. So you had a messy situation. And we know that someone put up on here something about gentrification. It's true. But I'm going to say this about high crime. High crime in some of our areas need not be as high as it is. Everybody that's in lockup doesn't have to be a criminal in lockup. There's some things that don't happen that Black people aren't doing for themselves to secure younger people and others so the crime rate is lower. For example, there's no reason in the world in every major city that you can't count on Black parents and Black communities to demand that there be summer job programs. There's money for all kinds of stuff. There should be no reason that that's not there. Number two, there's no reason that there are not trades in the schools that were removed. See, the thing is, no matter what we do or don't do, people who are out to make money are going to do what they do. If we don't stabilize what we have where we are, don't think someone that doesn't like you is going to do it. That's insane. So trades got removed from all of the schools, inner city schools across the country. There hasn't been any outcry from the Black elite in this country because they don't give a damn because their kids are going to go to college. The Black people who benefited from all the change in this country have supported the destruction of all the programs and activities and such that gave people options. Maybe all of the trade programs wouldn't have been saved, but none of them survive. And I'll just say to you, I'll give you a recent case. There is a program called Cypress Mandela. It's in Oakland, California. It's one of the best training programs in the world. Until recently, it was run by my best friend from Howard because it was extending opportunities to people of all races and making certain that a percentage of them were Black. The unions, when I say unions, you may as well say the Democratic Party, did not support him running the program, no matter how successful and effective it was. And they ran him out of the program, which means maybe 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 young Black men will not get opportunities to get trained for decent paying work. And that little ugly Barbara Lee and a little lesbian senator, LaFonza, that one that just stepped down for Schiff, no Black Democrats, the same ones that didn't speak up for reparations. Nobody came and said, this is the best program in the country. Keep him. Instead, Joe, my friend, almost killed him under the stress. I'm sick and tired of Black Americans not looking out for the young. There's no movement to fight human trafficking. There's really not a movement. The anti-mass incarceration movement was started by white people. There's nothing that's killing us, destroying us, where we're spearheading resistance on any level. Food desert, you name it. There's nothing that presses us where there's some organized pushback. None. So to hell with talking about gentrification. I mean, just what about genocide? Why? There's nothing that goes on, nothing. The rates of literacy dropping, rates of affordable housing disappear. Every pick a fucking cause and stand for it. And
Nobody
you
says
won't
enough's enough.
and you won't find it. You won't find nobody. It's not no church. No, they're not the black people. The boule. So don't tell me about gentrification. The black elite who are Democrats sit in the same rooms and look at the planning, and as long as they are the window dressing of city governance and management, they don't care if everyone black is homeless in the streets starving. We've had 60 years to watch this. I'm sick and tired. So just why not gentrify it? Who wants prime real estate all rat infested with people shooting and killing everywhere? Why should anyone want that? Anybody, I don't care what you look like. Now imagine I don't like you and I can make money removing you. Wouldn't the incentive be to drive your ass out? And voting in and of itself, if you vote for people who aren't for you, then they make policies against you. So voting isn't in and of itself the answer. I'm serious. I mean, a boycott, name anything, something, anything that would say no to. Bad chemicals in the hair care products that destroy the fertility of black women. Um, couldn't you get some of those bitches on Capitol Hill to do some legislation? It's China. The Republicans would join them. Anything that stands to benefit us, you can't even get black elected officials. I remember for years, BEOs, black elected officials. They don't do a goddamn thing for us. These black elected officials, even now, Kamala Harris didn't even pay her black campaign workers, treated them like shit. No one said it's nothing. They were lying to us to vote for that bitch. As they treated the people horribly, wouldn't even give them posters or chairs or water. I mean, but you put all the money in white areas, that's apartheid. And you know what? Not one, not one. No, nobody even said, the NACP sort of said something. When Roland Martin says, hey, bitch, you got $2 billion. Most of the people, when they said something, they were going to get money out of it. And look, for the people, and someone put up a good note, Marcia, they don't care if anybody's cold. Look at North Carolina, Appalachia. That's another thing that happened this year.
Still going on.
Yeah, they don't care a damn thing about anybody that's low income in general and black in particular. They exterminated those people.
And anybody that understands Appalachia in North Carolina
This,
or understands how a valley is set up. When a valley gets flooded, the water is not going nowhere.
yeah, when a valley
it stays in the valley. So
and you know it's terrible. You know what? Nobody think about it. Those people that are suffering in North Carolina and other places identify with the power system in the country that looks like them on the surface, but what's under the surface of the skin cover is green money and greed. And if you don't have green blood, you don't count no matter what you look like. What you saw with that thing in North Carolina is they have no problem killing any damn body. The same way that people in Ukraine are being destroyed, people in Russia are being destroyed, people in Syria are being destroyed, Christians being destroyed in Gaza and in Syria, and they say they're Christian conservatives. Damn, they don't care about anybody. So if it's Hunger Games on steroids, you've got to protect yourself. Someone asked the question, what's going on in Baltimore? Has it improved for the black population? The answer is no. And there are two sides to it. You have crooked black politicians and cowardly black politicians. Maryland may have more black people than white. However, the black Democrats are cowards. There was a Southern segregationist named Mike Miller, who was the Maryland Senate president for so long, almost 40 years, actually close to 50. He was in the Maryland Senate for almost 50 years. The Senate building was named for him. He didn't anything for black people. The answer is no. You know who was loyal to him? The black Democrats. And I'll say this about someone in Baltimore, but most people don't know is Maryland wouldn't have had any civil rights at all were it not for bigoted Republicans like Spiro Agnew, governor of Maryland, who's a Republican, who passed the civil rights law in Maryland. Meaning the Democrats, Mike Miller's group, fought everything for black people in Maryland. And the minute that the Republicans leave, the Democrats come in. By the way, one of the Democrats who was really good at splitting the heads of black people was Mayor D'Alessandro, who's the father of Nancy Pelosi.
He destroyed Baltimore, right?
He did what he could, and particularly screwed black people really badly. And he was mayor for 3 terms. And then she had a brother when the Dr. King riots broke out in Baltimore. Nancy Pelosi's brother was mayor. Now, all of the stupid ass black people in the Congressional Black Caucus kissed Nancy Pelosi's ass as a savior. And Nancy Pelosi went from Baltimore, they destroyed the black community, to San Francisco, where the community there has been destroyed. And people support her. So, now, by the way, this has been a bad year for that whole too. She got burned messing with Biden. And did you see, they said she fell down the stairs. Notice how quiet it is. And maybe she'll do a Feinstein and they'll open up that seat. But under Nancy Pelosi, they have shit and syringes in San Francisco. And I remember the show called The Streets of San Francisco. And we used to like that show. And so, shoot, nobody wants to see no streets of San Francisco. They're afraid they're going to get like, what's the stuff? They're afraid that they'll get tetanus or something like that from watching the show on the streets of San Francisco. This has been an interesting year. Going all the way back. In fact, I don't remember. Come on, y'all. I mean, we saw the stuff Gaza. That's been crazy. And if you're a whole
we basically gone on 14 months of Gaza?
No, it's more than that.
If 15 months?
It was October, November, December 15.
Yeah.
Now look,
and you told us then, Dr. Schultz, when we talked about it, you said, a lot of people just need to sit still, don't say nothing about it, and watch what's going on. And then you had explained to myself and the show about the plan for the greater Israel.
Yeah, well, look at how Israel's expanded once Assad came down. But Assad, I have to say this, Assad, I mean, he fucked up because you had Russia and Iran backing you, and you lost to some lightweight people. But part of what's wrong is that Assad and them have it's alleged that the family sells all the dope. The Captagon is like this party drug. So they're making billions of dollars selling dope. Now, frankly, if you're making billions of dollars selling dope, the one thing I would do, after all, you had a goddamn civil war, is pay your army. Do you know how much they're paying the army a month in Syria?
$25?
You're generous. Try 12.
Wow.
$9, $10, $12. Going up against mercenaries paid thousands. Shit, I'd switch sides too.
Abandoned shit. They said their troops was coming up out of their uniform in the streets. Like, I don't want to be associated with that. Who would want to
get shot for a $12 a month salary? Who? I wouldn't want to get shot, and these people getting paid thousands. I mean, so, and Bashir has billions of dollars. They had money. They have gold. They had tons of gold. Why not sell some of that shit off and pay your army? He's just like the black elite. They only care about a small sliver of black people matter. The rest of us are dirt under their feet. And they don't recognize that you need the dirt under your feet to fight the dirt under someone else's feet coming for you. Now, I got asked, Marion Barry was greatest mayor of Washington, D.C. He was great. Marion Barry was more than a Democrat. Marion Barry was a populist. Marion Barry was a black populist. Uh, um, I would not support Westmore for president. He's not a black American fully. Mm-mm. What's going to happen in 2025? In fact, Westmore is for illegals, gays, and other stuff. He's not for black people. Forget about that. And he smiles too much, and his clothes are tight. I suspect that. Why you wearing tight clothes,
So,
really?
Holman said they're going to Chicago first, Dr. Short.
They
It's
need to.
funny.
They need to go
We
to Chicago.
discussed Chicago and the meaning of Chicago
Get
a
to
year
black
and a
women.
half and a year and a half ago,
Mhm.
and we have seen how Chicago, definitely the sisters from Chicago read how Chicago is just like Brandon is done.
Yeah, well, Brandon is done, but I don't know who they're going to replace him with. But I'll say this: I like Holman. You don't belong in this country. Everywhere I travel, right now I have to go and get my passport renewed, and it's going to cost me like $200, maybe $220 to get it expedited. But I've never traveled anywhere and not had my document. I noticed, like, for my passport to be stolen and not be able to travel because my passport was stolen, and had to get a replacement passport in the Court of St. James U.S. Embassy in London. You don't just get on planes and do stuff. So who the fuck are these people to come here? I mean, nothing, and you get everything. Have you applied for SSI or disability like I have? With social, and then they make you wait, and they put you through these changes for a person that paid into the system. And when I would go to the office to check on my progress, I had to wait for people who can't speak English to be seen first.
They got their own. They got their own caseworkers when they go there. They got people
It's
that know
it's they have a
their
bus to bring them there. So no matter how early there, you can't get at the front of the line, and they get preference. So
yeah.
everybody behind you is in front of you because they're not from here. That is insane. I don't give a damn who likes it. That's insane. So to me, bring it on. I mean, people, you don't belong here. My friend, a sister from Chicago, her child got exposed to tuberculosis and other things from these illegal kids in the school. Now they pressured everybody for shots for the kids here, and yet nobody else has to follow these rules. To hell with that.
Yeah, it has been a year. It was fast. 2024 was a fast year. What do you think, Dr. Short, with the situation in Africa? What's going on in the continent of Africa with certain areas
Well, look,
kicking the French out of certain countries?
the empires had a crossroads, and some things have got to change. Now, someone asked me about Jimmy Carter. At least in theory, Jimmy Carter's pronouncement that America needed to support human rights, it should have actually done that and meant that, but it has not. I will start with that. And as a result, when you have an empire, you can't fight everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even if you have a lot of help, you still can't fight everybody. A lot of people need to remember when the Germans invaded Russia in 1941, they had people from all over Europe fighting alongside the German army, and even that wasn't enough. And the Germans were so busy hating everybody that was Slavic, they wouldn't make everybody was the enemy. You were a target because of who and what you were. They went to war with the entire Russian people. The Russian people had the only option they had was to fight. The Germans weren't just fighting the large Russian army, they were fighting the Russian population. They had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Russian people as partisans, blowing up, shooting, attacking, doing stuff. You can't fight everybody, and that's a lesson, white American elite. You can't hate, fight, and kill everybody. It's not. It didn't work for the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians. You can't have a long standing empire civilization constantly warring against everyone. If you attack and fight everybody, and if you have to put your foot and everyone's asked to feel like someone, eventually someone's going to want to put their foot in yours. And when you least expect it, it happens. And so back to Africa, people need to understand something. Africa has the youngest population in the world. Africa's population, they lied to you. There are probably already 2 billion or more people in Africa. Trust me. I'm sorry, white folks claim to be numerate with math. They never do well with numbers when it comes to black people. They always get everything wrong because it's an ego. A black person's never done it. No black person, right? So you want Africa's population to always be just about 1 billion, because if you understand the Project AIDS and other things didn't want Africa to have more than 600 million people. And right now, Africa's got maybe 3 times that number, and they're going to have a hell of a lot more. And if you understand, little teeny tiny Nigeria is on the way one day to having 600 million people in Nigeria, which isn't bigger than the state of Texas. Or I'm sorry, it's a little larger than Texas. It's about the size of Texas and New Mexico put together. And they're going to have 600 million people. Ethiopia is going to have over 200 million. Congo is going to have 300 million or more. It's going to be Congo is half the size of the United States. Imagine having about the same population. And Tanzania is going to have a huge number of people, over 100 million, right? Angola may have over 100 million people. These are African countries that are just blowing up. People used to Africa being sparsely populated, and therefore, and that's part of why the United States and other countries have done things to promote warfare and starvation in Africa, because the fewer Africans there are, the fewer Africans there are to need the resources in Africa or fight to hold on to the resources in Africa for their own development. Are you understanding me? So there's been a depopulation program active since the 1960s. Since 1960, actually it's about 60 years old. I think next year it'll be 60, where Dr. Ravenholt convinced Lyndon Baines Johnson of the Office on Population in the State Department that the United States could spend what $1 used in birth control would save them at least $10 in fighting adults who were born in these big populations. So the goal was to reduce the population of Africa, Asia, and Latin America by up to 30%. Okay, because you don't have to fight it. Because if your population grows and people see your diamonds and your gold going everywhere else, and I've been to Niger, and they didn't have electricity when I was there in 1983, and they don't have it now. That's a lifetime. That's a lifetime. They didn't have it when I went.
Wow.
Okay, so understand something. These younger people are going to be aggressive. We're going to have to fight hundreds of millions of people, way more. I'm sorry, white America, I'm going to repeat it. Fighting the rest of the world would be very different from bullying Black Americans, which you outnumber. Just everything's been in your favor. Imagine being in a situation where nothing's in your favor and you started to fight. And I will say again, I didn't say, but I meant to say, next year, 2025 will mark what? The 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. It will also be the 80th anniversary of the nuclear bomb being dropped. All of that to say, and people knew that they could do this nuclear bomb, right? They knew that could be made in the 1930s. So the idea of nuclear weapons is heading towards 100 years old. eventually a lot of people are going to have nukes. And a lot of people that watch countries get attacked and bullied by the United States, fuck, I need a bomb. I need a mushroom cloud too. They've had treaties on this non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, but I want to say to you, things are changing. It's also 80 years since the Holocaust ended. How much longer can you collect? Just asking for a friend.
I think it might have been 100 years coming up. That's when that's. What was it? What was those trials, Dr. Short?
Nuremberg.
I think it was.
But
that's
that's coming up in 80.
Okay.
So if we look at Hitler came to power in 1932. So in 10 years, wait a minute, was it 12 years? No, they wouldn't go into 5.
Eight.
And 7 years.
7, yeah, 25, yeah.
In 7
years.
years, it will be a century since Hitler came to power. And when you add the 7 years, it'll be the centenary of them beginning to persecute Jews in Germany. When you add a couple of years on it, it's going to be 100 years since the Holocaust. Will we continue to justify anything that goes in the Middle East over an event that happened 100 years ago, aside from all the other things? And will we continue to still support that blind and say, well, this is God?
Will they be told to get over it? It happened 100 years ago?
Well, I don't think they'll be told to get over it, but I'll say this to you, and I'm not picking sides. The Arabs are better at killing black people that like them, that they just don't want to get along with, than they are at standing up to European people. So, I mean, y'all suck. I'm sorry, Arabs, y'all suck at standing up. Maybe the Crusades, and even he was a Kurd. He wasn't an Arab. What's his name? Sahaladin was Kurd. He wasn't even Arab. So y'all suck at the only people. I mean, y'all go and massacre darker skinned people, especially after just shitty towards black people. But y'all suck ass when it comes to European people. Y'all just take it up the ass all the time. And so maybe they'll continue to take it up the ass. In fact, that's something I want to share with people. One of the main ways that the Israelis get information on all of these Islamic people that they assassinate. Did you know? Let me tell you. It's HHP. It's homo honeypots. They set up the gay Palestinians and then blackmail them. You have to tell us where your leaders are. We're going to tell everybody the little blowjob you got from your friend. And so these guys have to snitch. So, man,
they don't want to get outed.
No, they don't want to get outed, So basically, they end up being bitches. And in fact, a lot of times, it's interesting. They won't even let you have your own damn olive tree, and you're trying to have a Jewish boyfriend. It sounds like Black Americans. So yeah, I want to be in love. I want to be in bed with the person that hates and oppresses me. What does it feel like for a Klans person to penetrate you? Just raw sexual hatred, right? So these Palestinians tricking with these Jewish guys, saying, that guy's so hot. He's so blonde. I hate my dark hair and dark eyes. I like those guys. I wonder if he has some swastika nipple rings, right? And it turns out that guy's a Mossad agent. May have got your asshole waxed, but you end up being a double agent for the Israelis. And that's how they find everybody. That's a big part of it.
Hey, it takes down people's sexual deviance and sexual undisciplined sexual behavior. Takes down everything. Takes down nations. Took down Diddy finally.
It's taking down Black Americans.
Takes down Black Americans.
We're screwed. We're so screwed. It's not somebody white's responsibility for you to keep your damn dick in your pants.
Just imagine if Gilliam...
That's not another group of people's... That bullshit.
Just imagine if Gilliam would have won the governor race. It would have been so embarrassing.
Well, we're embarrassed anyway. Obama was an embarrassment.
Uh,
I'm still trying to forget that he was president. I mean, just bring all the white ones back. I mean, I'd rather have a real white president than a fake black one.
mm.
Just, I can't. I mean, and Obama really put he put something in his mouth. Now, let me see. And let's go back to Jimmy Carter for a second. All what I remember most is that Jimmy Carter is a lot like a premature ejaculation. The thought doesn't count. The good intention didn't happen. In fact, you look stupid doing it.
I mean,
And
it was an embarrassment the way they sat him up. You know, when he was in hospice, the way they sat him up, talking about he
well, well,
he's
well,
holding on so he
but
could vote
you know
for.
what? The thing is, well, for Jimmy Carter, it's one less Kamala voter. You know, he voted for Kamala.
Yeah. And you guys in the chat, just Google, just Google President Carter when he voted for Kamala Harris. Come on, he wasn't there, y'all. He wasn't
Uh-oh.
there.
And and
Watch
and,
the picture that
and this
comes
just
up.
brought
And
up
I
this.
and
Mhm.
and, and, and I'm one that honors the elders. You live your life. We should make sure they're taken care of. But the way his people did him, and the way they allowed a camera to take a picture of him.
Well, Jimmy Carter, and when he looked like a fish kill, like when you have PCBs or some toxic chemical in the water, he looked like like one of the fish floating on top of the water. In fact, I was telling to my friend, I said, it's time for him to kick the bucket in the day, Lord Jesus. He died the next day. Unless it's, Jimmy Carter said, gotta die soon. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I don't want him to die so much. He wasn't so, just like I said, it's like a premature ejaculation.
So what? So
If
what
you,
about
if,
the?
hold it, you're mad. If you're with the woman and you had talked to him, I'm going to turn it out, make you shout. Right. And then you had a preemie. Would you be respected?
No.
No. I mean, they had to say, oh, snap. Where's my phone? They would put it on the camera. Oh my God, he had a preemie. Quentin had a preemie. He couldn't hold it. He couldn't hold it, girl. Oh my God.
Hey, Dr. Cho, what was your thoughts with Biden with all these pardons? With all these pardons on death row?
Um, you know, I just I try not to think about Biden. I'm so happy that his time in office is ending. I mean, he can't leave or have a stroke fast enough for me. We knew Hunter was dirty and nasty. We knew that he was a freak and he was a monster. I'm so disgusted by him. And so, I just want to go away.
So you pardoned
Um,
all these people on death row. The people were on death row.
yeah, but he's destroyed tens, millions of lives. I mean,
Millions.
he needs to let all the not look. The people rioted. Come on, you got friends in lockup. The people rioted all over the country when Biden became president because it ended Trump's criminal justice reform project.
Yeah, it got people held up. Actually, because of the First Step Act, when most people that were coming home, it got held up, and a lot of the guys they're basically stuck,
Mm,
and they actually needed President Trump to win.
yeah,
So when he takes back office, BOP could start releasing some of these people that
yeah,
really
really should
are
be out.
harmless to the communities, but they
Mm.
just happen to be in the federal system from non-violent offenses.
Biden is scum. Biden is scum. Can I do something? Someone asked me to do something while we're here. So I just brought some in because I keep buying, and I think everybody that donates
You got
to.
some books today, right?
Oh yeah, I got it. Well, I'm going to show you the books I've had in the like past couple of days. One, I'm going to start with this one and move these over. The first book is by Frederick Ludwig Hoffman. It's called Race Traits and Tendencies of the American Negro. How many on there? 6. Okay. Yeah, I need to screen capture this. This is This guy, I'll explain to you in a second. Let me get this down here for your people. Oh, okay, there it is.
Right there, that's a good shot. Race, tr- race traits and tendencies of the American Negro.
Okay, if you get screwed up, this is one of the architects of medical apartheid on a policy level, not like Dr. Sims or Byron Rushing. Frederick Ludwig Hoffman was a racist German from Oldenburg, Germany, who um, who was a statistician, and he was an influence on Margaret Sanger and eugenicists and everybody. And he was the one that came with the bright idea to go before the Congress of the United States and explain why America, unlike Western European countries and other nations that are advanced, have health programs, national health programs. He contended if you have a national health program, it will help the Black population grow. So the United States should not have a national health program to suppress the growth of the Black population. And if Blacks were denied medical care on the same level as whites, more and more Black people would die and would eventually become statistically irrelevant. Margaret Sanger added abortion and, of course, our stupid boule and you whore-ass people in the Greek letter societies. You guys have all sided in with the extermination of your own people, and you run around with your mouths poked out at every mishap you have with somebody that may be white or different. I mean, come on, be for real. I got this book yesterday. This is really cool.
Ku Klux Culture.
Mm-hmm.
Who that's by, Dr. Short?
It's by Felix Harcourt. And it's really cool. It shows how the KKK stuff was in everything, every dimension. It was in sports. Everything was around the Ku Klux Klan. So it's not like it's some fringe group. It's as American as apple pie and internet porn. That's very American. Get your copy today. I think I got this inexpensive. It's Amazon. I know people having a strike right now. I have to like be a cool. Okay. I just got this because it's worthwhile because a lot of people think President Johnson was worth the damn. A great society. This is the stuff I was told when I was young. It was going to change and make everything better. Lies. Bullshit. It shows how people, I don't know. That's one. Um, Walter Rodney. This is a collection of essays. The one that wrote How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. He's one of these Marxists. So this is a collection of essays. It's highly priced, but you know, that's all right. He wrote it. He's a classic, so I went ahead and got it. Okay, but I got a paperback on his ass. He doesn't know he's dead. I love this one. And this came from, they got rid of this book, but I love it. Um, hmm.
Politics losing.
Yes, Trump, the Klan, and the mainstreaming of resentment.
That sounds like a doozy there.
Yeah, losing, the politics of losing. Well, Trump didn't lose, so I don't like the title. Trump got robbed. People have the right to get mad when they get robbed. My thing is, but hate the right people. This is the one I can't.
Divine Feminine.
Yes, and it shows, okay, this talks about witchcraft and the occult and feminism. So all you feminists are type of witch. You get your stuff from people into witchcraft and Satanism and Hindu religion. There's an overlap. This is why a lot of people get a break. There's this fascination with Hindu and this swastikas and all this stuff for a while. Divine Feminism. Take a screenshot. Why are people asking me this? Don't y'all see this? How long does it take to screenshot something? Not long. And so let me read a book. This is so cool. And this is like on Theosophy by Blavatsky. And I had the book. I wonder if I have it. Maybe I moved it. I had a book on the Black father of sex magic. Sex magic comes from a black dude. But anyway,
but of course.
Well, yeah, and so that's from the white community. Bullshit. A lot of shit starts with us. Deal with it. So this is talking about, and if you can see the couple, it's Madame Blavatsky. She's one of the people that's in the Theosophy. They're into Lucifer. They hate Jesus if you're a Christian. But then again, nobody's a Christian these days. It's not popular. In fact, should I bring that? You know what? I should bring my white Jesus picture down when I take my break. Yeah. So yeah, I'm so mad at irreligious black people making excuses to do stupid shit. Well, Jesus was a white man and he made us slaves. Then the next sentence, Jesus was black. God, I mean, damn. Make your goddamn mind what's going. I mean, pick a lie and stick to it. Damn it. I listened to this book on tape, but I got the hardback because it was a good price. This is Phyllis Schlafly, my favorite conservative white woman, attacking feminism. And it's so good the way she breaks those studs down. It's great. It's great. Phyllis Schlafly, Feminist Fantasies. And the forward was done by someone that hates Ramaswamy named Ann Coulter. Sometimes I really agree with Ann Coulter. Sometimes
amazing. Dr. Short, listen, I'm gonna tell you something today.
She's a person about that fraud.
Unfortunately, we're doing a show, right? And this is gonna be in the atmosphere, right? I found myself agreeing with Steve Bannon this week.
Yeah, well, Steve Bannon did a cut. Everything he does isn't wrong. I never asked people to love political parties. I ask people to love God, love their neighbor, and get the best policy from the politicians that you vote for. And if you accept bullshit, then accept yourself as a bullshit people. If you fight bullshit, then you're bullshit fighting people. We're on the same page. Go ahead.
Yeah, Steve Bannon said something very interesting about the whole thing with immigration. And he basically said it's all about having indigent servants. And this is the whole reason why they want that. And, like we always talk about, it's a battle of resources. And he said that the resources need to be going to Black Americans and Hispanics.
Yes, I heard about that. And he was up in Chicago.
And he laid it out and why. And I was shocked that he said it. And it's interesting.
Well, lockup was good for his ass. They need to lock up Biden. They need to lock up a bunch of people so they can have a reality check. I mean, there are a lot of people who've never, I've met people and seen them. They don't have to hear or know anything that anyone that doesn't look exactly like them in their same class that lives in the same place, but they never. It's only them. The rest of us don't. We merely exist. You've met them too, sir.
Yeah.
And you can't. I mean, let's say there's a live wire, but they could get electrocuted. They drive, and you ask them, please, and they say, "Fuck you, nigga. This is right," and they can end up getting electrocuted trying to show you, I know what I look like, and I happen to like it too, even if the hair's not combed. But this is my job to tell you not to get fried by the high voltage wire in the road. But other people are into I'm better than you instead of, come on, if you're better than me, then you should be able to hear me and take care of business.
So, Dr. Short, what What is Steve Bannon? Is he just a straight nationalist, or
You mean the white nationalists?
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know him that well. All I'm going to say to you is I was in the same courtroom as him, and he came. He didn't want to come to court to testify against Roger Stone, but he did. But what was really interesting was that my joke when he came in the courtroom was uh, they made him go back to his room because his socks matched. Uh, Let me see. And oh my God, I've been getting down on this because this is something you're going to see a lot more people get in the cults and commit suicide like Jonestown. Some of them are going to be black because black people look for ways to get destroyed. You can't tell them not to. It's my body, right? It's my punani or what's that, vagina, whatever. But this is I got this one. I was just kind of cute. It's just a biographical dictionary of American cults and sect leaders. So you can like learn about cults. And of course, I was in looking at Jim Jones just to see, and his name was James Warren Jones. And let me see. Listen to this, because most people, when they talk about Jonestown, you know, all those sorry ass people that followed him that were black. Let's read what they followed to the jungles of South America. In California, Jones began to build both the People's Temple and involve himself, in local politics. During his first months in California, he became the head of the Mendocino County Grand Jury. He was later appointed to the board of the San Francisco Housing Authority, and he became an acquaintance and a political ally of the mayors and governors. Within the temple, Jones' leadership became increasingly autocratic, and in 1971, buildings were purchased in the Los Angeles and San Francisco, and the congregations were begun among poor blacks. A small group of whites joined the temple. A high proportion of them moved into leadership positions. Sounds like the Kamala Harris campaign. As the membership grew, along with Jones's power, he took control of individuals' lives. He often arranged marriages, enforced corporal punishment among the children, and engaged in illicit sexual encounters with many members, both male and female.
Read that again, Dr. Short. I don't think most people heard what you were saying about Jim Jones.
It said that, wait a second. He often arranged marriages, enforced corporal punishment among children, and engaged in illicit sexual encounters with many members, both male and female. Are you feeling me? And so the majority of the disproportionate number of people that died in Jonestown were black females, which means they were in a church where a white man raped and attacked and assaulted men and women and had the children beaten. And you stayed.
So
you stayed. You stayed. And it's supposedly a spiritual, holy God place. I mean, you're supposed to have the pastor sleep and he got accused of sexual harassment, abuse. You stayed, just like they stayed with Eddie Long, yes, just like they stayed with Jamal Bryant, just like they stay with Creflo Dollar, and like they stay with TD or Take Dick's Jigs.
Oh, okay, Dr. Short. It's a question in regards to Jim Jones. Ebony said, I heard somewhere that Jim Jones' cult was supported by Nancy Pelosi in downtown Willie Brown. Of
Of
true,
course,
of Nancy's been doing us dirty many decades.
of course, Nancy Pelosi worked for, I think, Moscone in San Francisco. But you need to understand something. Jim Jones, for several years, was among the most powerful Democratic politicians in the state of California. So you can't just say Nancy Pelosi. You need to add Barbara Boxer and the late Feinstein, and you need to add Barbara Lee. You need to add Congressman Damali and his aide at that time, Maxine Waters.
Mm.
Everybody, Jimmy Carter and them, everybody went to the People's Temple. That includes the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, the head of the Black Panthers, Huey Newton, a lot of people, Cecil Murray, pastor of Glide United Methodist Church. The People's Temple was the how can I say, the grassroots wing of the Democratic Party in California. If I can say this in more crude terms, the mass murder of Black people in Guyana gave demonic power to the Democratic Party to bamboozle us, because those were all Democrats. And I worked with a gentleman that survived the Jonestown massacre. His name is Charles Krause. He was with the major newspaper. I don't know if it was the Post, but Charles Krause was with the News Hour. So I know Charles Krause. People have downplayed the importance and the power. Jim Jones and them had money. Jim Jones and them they had the capacity to flip several major U.S. cities and one of the most populous states in the country, California. So they had churches in Los Angeles, churches in and something else that he had that he got a lot of props for. He was a white man working with a predominantly Black and poor congregation, which made him a saint. Just like a lot of these foster parents that screw the kids are saints. Oh, you took up Black kids. You really must be treating them good. Yeah, I'm trying, right. It's sad. Why aren't you taking care of your own children? And why wasn't a Black pastor good enough for you?
Mm.
Okay, and so we have a suicidal population that can't be saved. But Jim Jones could get all of those Black folks who could look past him raping and screwing folks, men and women, and using drugs, which came out later. People knew.
Wow.
That you could let them beat your children, and they could count on you to knock on hundreds and thousands of doors for whichever Democratic candidate that ran. Everybody wants that. Do you know how much money?
She said she could see the Democratic connection.
Okay, good. I'm glad. So it's very close there. You can write me offline. There's a book. It's called Dream City. Dream City is a good book to get. And I have another one I've been getting these because Black folks are so silly. This is one called The Occult in America. I don't have the dust jacket
That's
on.
the book that's the book you showed me with all the occults.
No, there's another one. So this talks about the history of the growth of the occult. This is just a monograph. Let me get a more interesting book. And this is a good one I just got. It's kind of expensive.
The Plantation Machine.
Yeah, it compares slavery in Haiti and in Jamaica and shows the similarities and differences and the growth of racism within the expansion of the power and the paranoia. I mean, I'm serious. This is what it's about. That's good. So it's called The Plantation Machine. Get on up. Pick it up. Pick on up. Stay on the scene like a plantation machine. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Pick that cotton. Pick that cotton. Pick the cotton. Hey, pick that cotton. Right? All right. I got another one. This is a very good, a nice theologian. He's Christian. You may not want to read him, Brother Q. But this is
It's not
by,
like being black by
yeah,
voodoo by Vadal D.
Vodi Beauchamp.
Beauchamp.
And how sexual activists hijacked the civil rights movement. And it's a good book. If you get, it's not that expensive. And
Hey, Dr. Short, if you don't mind, could you talk about that? How the civil rights movement was hijacked by everybody else, and we didn't get the benefits that we
and,
should have got from it.
well, he says it's hijacked, and he's a very brilliant man, but it wasn't hijacked. They already had it. If you have, it's like, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. On the national scene, who's the most influential non-political person from New York in the country?
In the national scene,
National scene from New York that doesn't hold an elected office.
right now, it would probably be Sharpton.
Next question. Have you ever heard that Al Sharpton was different from how he is now when he was young?
Absolutely.
How different did you hear?
Well, we physically we could tell he was different,
Okay.
and even even from the outside, from what I know, he wasn't well liked in his ministry.
He wasn't well liked in this ministry. I'm going to say this. There are persons who are well situated to know to say that Andrew Gillum has a soulmate in Sharpton.
Ooh.
And this is supposedly well known. Now, what is the fact is that Sharpton alleges that he caught his wife in bed with another woman. That is a fact. That was in the New Amsterdam. So we know at least one person in the marriage that he had swung both ways. I'm thinking there's no way you don't know that your woman swings both ways. Not when you're a preacher, not when you're from New York. No, you know. Now
Mm.
the question is, she has lots of dirt on him, and she never said anything, but she got paid off good. But brother, look at Sharpton, and he's built up as the only person that can speak about anything for Black people. You end up being sent to him. And before him, it was Jesse Jackson, right? All right. Let me just say this, and I'm going to start saying it more, and I don't mind if it's upsetting to people. What is fact is that the AME Bishop of Mother Metropolitan Church in Washington, D.C., AME, used cocaine. That's number one. Number two, it is widely reported, although he's deceased and can't speak for himself, that he swung both ways. Widely reported. What is definitive is number three, he was a person that had Jesse come to DC. That's number one. Number two, Reverend Clay Evans, or as some people say, Reverend Gay Evans, in Chicago, was Jesse Jackson's patron saint. I will say my late movement uncle named Mr. Philip Smith reported to me a story from the early 1970s. He was on a plane first class, and he was speaking to another person on the plane who was white, who was a government official. And they began to talk, and he asked the person, "What do you do?" And he says, "You don't want to know." He says, "Well, I just told you what I do. I want to know what you do." So he gives the guy out of his briefcase pictures of an unsaid Black Democratic Party leader and pastor or preacher, and had pictures of this man having intercourse with men or at least a man. Certain Chicago people would allege that there was something going on between a very wealthy Black businessman and a Black Democratic religious political figure. The same religious Black political figure used to hang out for days at a time unsupervised at the Playboy Mansion. I guess they were doing what? Playing Scrabble with the Bible?
They was doing they was doing
They were doing
charitable work.
Bible Scrabble.
Bible Scrabble, Dr. Short.
Bible Scrabble. And I'll do some more to answer this person's question, your question. Barbara Jordan, stud. John Lewis, a queen. And we could do more of these people. These people are already there. There are questions about Ralph Abernathy, and I hope the people are of age. So there's a lot of freakiness. You have to understand a lot of people that were in the civil rights movement, in order to get ahead of Black people, because initially the student revolt was organic among young Black men that were tired of bullshit. When it got big, the Greek letter Black folks, in order to be ahead, the Boule people, in order to be ahead of popular discontent so they could control it, they jumped into the movement and hijacked it. In the early 60s, when it became a youth thing, it became a Boule thing. People who wanted to be relevant and in charge of subsequent generations of Blacks saw their opportunity. It was happening mostly on the school campuses. They had their numbers, and they hijacked the civil rights movement way before this LGBTQ thing in. But many of these Greek letter organizations have a very strong gay tradition, whether it is announced or otherwise. I think earlier this year we talked about the fight for the Alpha Phi Alpha gays to have transsexuals and so forth, and the Divine Nine. So let's just do this. We can just strike the AKAs by telling everyone the founder of the AKAs was a lesbian who liked light skinned and dark skinned women that lived here in the city, not too far. I used to walk by near where they live all the time. So, yeah, Lucy Diggs, and I have relatives named Diggs. So I hope the stud's not my cousin. I have enough stud cousins. I don't need another one. I have relatives named Diggs. It's so scary. Anyway, all right. I'm okay. All right. Now look. So the AKA is a stud. If you start looking, a lot of the deltas, I'm telling you, a lot of the deltas, not all, but I mean, we could play what's that thing? The Village People, Macho Man. That could be their theme song. Okay. There are a lot of, and the same thing for the male fraternities. Remember, Dr. King is Alpha Phi Alpha. John Lewis is Sigma. C.T. Vivian, I think, is Sigma. I think he's Sigma. A lot of these people you see, they're all Greek. See, the people like you and me that didn't pledge, we got picked off and knocked out of the way, and the only ones that made it, that got the love, were Masonic or Greek. And some of these secret society groups demand homosexual activity for you to get in. They won't let you in. I've been in situations at a HBCU, right? And as well, I'll just tell you, it was in Howard University's chapel choir, and they didn't want anyone straight in the choir. They would just attack and scream at us. Why are you in our choir? they these are the black dudes. They want everything gay. There was no space. Even if you didn't bother them, it just wasn't enough. They would just act like you weren't there. You don't suck dick. You don't belong here, right? And yes, they can make you feel uncomfortable, even if they're not straight shooters. It's called prison and other places where they have the numbers. They got strong enough, and your ass gets overrun. It's sort of like Mexicans. They move in there nice until they get a sizable number, then they just take shit over. White people do the same thing when they gentrify, especially if they're gay. Oh, but the stop sign should look like a penis, and it should point one way, right? And everything starts changing and shit. Yeah, all the signs need to look like penises. You're right. I do say. Then everything. You have bike trails, cum trails. You have all this stuff to accommodate their bullshit.
Well, so you guys, we're gonna take a 2-minute break. I use the bathroom real quick.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
No, if you were Diddy, he wouldn't let you leave. And you know what? Denzel Washington would sit there and watch and go.
We're gonna take a 2-minute break, and then we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Hey. remember.
And we're back.
Oh, I thought you did a number 2.
No.
You went to eat.
I went to the bathroom and I got some of this trail mix that I had here.
Well, my trail mix was a pork chop.
And then I wanted to turn the light on. I'll be sitting in the dark like I'm crazy.
Mm. Well, you're probably sound like a white mask killer. You go see somebody.
So excuse me while I chew in your ear a little bit.
Well, no, I was able to eat mine. I've been.
Let me ask you, Dr. Short, because it was one of the questions that Gene had asked. What is your hold on? What is your she had came in late. Excuse me if it's a guy. Did you guys discuss major possibilities for 2025?
Oh no, we didn't. And let's do it. Anything's on the table in 2025. A depression, World War III, riots. Biden and them have made such an effing mess until anything bad could happen. And the public, which is not really united fully behind Trump, will get mad at him at any minute if there's not all goodwill for the first 6-7 months. He's got to really do things. And typically they pick people that are problematic, like Matt Gaetz. He's going to have to pick people other than hard-ass white men. Get some smart-ass white men. It really is possible.
You
Okay,
even see it with some of the people.
All
Some of
this
the people.
discussion about intellectual inferiority of Black people, some of his picks make every Black wino look like Einstein. So get good people. Don't put sorry-ass people. Now, the white woman in Florida that to replace Gates, she's sharp. Kennedy's sharp. But again, Swami, excuse me, only thing he knows how to run is gel in his hair. These people, please get out of my face. 2025, you could see the war expand in Syria. You could see Lebanon have a civil war. You could see Jordan go. You could see the French kicked out of Ivory Coast, which would be, and Cameroons and Senegal. You could see expanded wars in the Sahel as these countries try to wage dirty wars to bring the Africans back on the plantation. Nigeria could have a civil war.
Someone asked you a question, another question.
No, just saying there's so many things. There could be peace between Russia and the Ukraine, but there's so much money being made off the people killing. Trump is going to have to be his other self and not go with the money. I think that they'll stop that war, but I also think you're going to see a lot of illegal migrants being driven out of countries worldwide, Europe, everywhere. If you don't belong somewhere, your ass needs to be where you came from, or at least where you have papers for. Don't show up without any damn papers.
What do you think about the fit with Trump and Musk?
I think it's a bromance due to fail. Elon is 10 times more narcissistic and malevolent than Trump. And Trump has to be the diva bitch in front of the choral ensemble. Elon Musk doesn't know how to sit his Jewish South African ass down. The U.S. government is not a company that the taxpayers gave you money to lose money with. I mean, I didn't vote for him. You didn't either. I didn't vote for Swami. I didn't vote for some stupid people. We voted for Trump because he knows how to take care of business. Now, yes, he needed their money, and if he was a businessman, it's time for him to swindle their asses like he's done other people. I mean, you have my permission to cheat their ass, Trump. Cheat them. Just like you did.
Do you foresee arrests and charges against members of the Democratic Party?
Well, I like science fiction too. I don't see it happening because, if they do that, people can open up on who's a Klansman, who's a Nazi, who's a pedophile. You have to understand, if you point your finger at someone, you have to be prepared for people to point fingers at you, even if they're lying. um, I don't think that the people really want, because they're so scared. If they did lock up some people, it would be interesting because it sets a precedent for this to happen. And then they're going to need to lock up people that did worse than these high profile things. So I think a part of the corruption is not fixing a problem, but letting it fester. Unless Trump and them saying, we don't care how angry we make the public, the same way Biden didn't care about high prices for food and everything, and they just, kept ignoring it. Unless Trump and them are willing to antagonize those people in the public that would get angry with a move he would make around that. And he has to be willing to say, hey, I'm not going to have good polls, but fuck it, I'm going to do this. If he does the right thing, great. If he doesn't, don't be surprised if he lets the same old stuff go on.
What about Israel? You think Gaza's going to come to a cease?
When they get through killing as many people as they want to kill, but the question is, I don't know if they can do that. If you watch a couple, within the last day, 5 Israeli soldiers were blown up in Jabalia, and they're still killing people. I think in the last couple of weeks, they've killed about 40 Israeli soldiers in Gaza, and I'm not saying that Palestinians aren't losing maybe 100, 200, 300,000 times more lives, but any resistance from Hamas is going to continue the Israeli overaggression, and yet the people in Hamas have a right to defend or fight for themselves. So you have, and Netanyahu, as you know, he's had his prostate removed. So, well, imagine a dick without a dick, or with the full imprint. Anyway, Netanyahu, he's got to keep things going to avoid going to trial. So as long as this war goes on, he's got a degree of safety. If you get any kind of peace, I mean, Israel could have how can I best say it? It's almost like a white on white fight, like what's happening in MAGA. Black people have nothing to do with the fighting going on over Eat My Butt and Scamaswamy. I say Eat My Butt instead of Elon Musk. And that's his attitude. Well, I'm just.
How could Dr. Short? I know this might be a little too broad. How could we as Black Americans position ourselves in a position of more leverage going forward? Like, we know that elected officials, Black or not, voicing anything for us. So what could we do to really make ourselves in a position of leverage?
Actually, it's easy. It won't happen, but it's easy. It's so easy. It's disgusting. It used to be practiced on a micro level. It's not practiced at all these days. If Black people respected each other and followed the second commandment, love neighbor as self, treat other as self, that'd be more than enough leverage. It's an issue of the spirit and the heart. It's not physical. As long as we elect to be lawless towards each other and to do all this, I'm talking about the greater majority, either are riding the fence, not paying attention, not trying, or part of the problem. As long as we don't cooperate and work collectively and support and reciprocate with one another, we basically, whether we deserve it or not, we're going to get what we've been getting, if not worse. Right? It's really, we've got $2 trillion, and essentially 1.9 trillion or more of it goes to everybody else. No people survive with almost 100% disinvestment in self. That's like a person that that it's imagine, like the beans lady when you went to the cafeteria. There's always a bitch in front of behind the green beans. It's the same one with the little bag on the head and shit. You wish you could choke her with it because the food's bland. Okay, right? Are you following me? The person that the person that keeps doing the same thing that they're always going to do, keep getting the same thing. Why would the person with the green beans tray give you mac and cheese? Why are you looking to that? Show me another place where if you gave all your money to somebody else and you probably didn't have enough for you, what would your situation be? Bad. Most of the people that are poor in our community are children and elderly people. There are a lot of men that are broke, but you know what? In reality, 40, 50 million or so black folk are making it with $200 billion. And the other ones have they have $1,800,000,000,000. Are you getting me? The top 10% of black folks have all of this money. If we stuck together, $2 trillion goes a long way. A few billion would go a long way. Here's the disgusting thing. I've seen it. That's why I damn the Goulet all the time. You see people like you saw for the Kamala Harris campaign, people like Roland Martin and others complaining that she wasn't spending money with black vendors. They didn't care about her policy and they didn't care about anyone. They simply wanted some of the $2 billion that she got.
That's what I call the $2 billion grift.
Roland Martin and all these other people got paid off of this money. They told black people expect nothing. That was part of their elevator pitch to get these huge sums of money to do basically moronic interviews with Kamswala. But so why not change? Why not look? We have somewhere between 9,250 to 10,000 black on black homicides almost annually. Somewhere between 9,000 to 10,000 black folks shot down every fucking year. And they'll cry more about Tamir Rice and Trayvon Martin. If you can get a white perpetuator of the crime, oh my, and sorry ass George Floyd. I mean, I want to put my knee on his neck to make him stop saying mama. But
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
But my point. But all these murders we have, all the abortions, that guy that got beaten to death in upstate New York, you and I know that thousands of people are injured and killed every year in jails, and it's of no disproportionately black, no outcry, nothing, zilch. Yeah. Okay, when those things happen, people say, you know what? I'll tell you something about black Americans. They don't give a fuck about each other. So they're not going to care what we do to them. We invite the oppression. We invite it. We excuse it. We justify it. We enable it. If we started respecting self and demanding others respect us, even if it came to blows, eventually certain things would change. These large black urban communities all over the country that are diminishing, they came out of the struggle because when they initially moved the cities, people didn't want them there. And of course, there's certain situations where people says, we're just going to attack you because we don't like you. And only after people in these communities fought back. And I'll put it very crassly. I'm a white thug in a black neighborhood starting stuff, and I end up in a body bag. The message goes back, I really hate those porch monkeys, but they can kill you just like we kill one of them. Oh, wow, I never thought about that. Well, let me just stay among people like me who hate them.
And in that system, what a lot of people don't know in that system, Dr. Short, and I don't want to minimize what people go through in a free society, but make no mistake, in behind them walls, people playing for keeps. And
We're
not
just
to try to
playing.
scare anybody, but it's only one thing in there. It's either eat or be eaten. So if you think you're dealing with, like Dr.
Hey,
Short has alluded
pause
to,
a second.
white supremacy.
But no, I never said anything
No,
about
no, I'm saying if somebody thinks that they're dealing with the little stuff that we see behind them walls, it's the stuff with Robert Brooks is light. I'll be honest with you, and I'm not trying to minimize his death, but that's standard.
yeah, because thousands of people die like that.
Yeah.
What was that expression you said with Kamala Harris?
Oh, the $2 billion grift.
No, the second thing, the thing you just said about tasting something. It's
What?
something that you said. You just said something about taste or, oh, yes, eat or be eaten.
Oh, eat or be eaten.
I believe that's going to be Kamala Harris's next campaign motto. And that's our Happy New Year from Seattle to you, too. That's what I was thinking. You know what? You know what's happening where I can't remember the things? It's beginning to happen. I think the CBD is kicking in. I'm having like a mile. Oh my
The,
God!
the,
Remember
the
Kamala?
gummies. Look, you don't ran on our break. You don't ran upstairs and ate, started eating.
Well, I don't think there is. No, I do think because that's I'm forgetting everything. Oh, I'm so glad I don't smoke anything.
Ebony asked a question in reference to
Mhm.
beautiful 14th Amendment. What are your thoughts on Trump's attempt to uphold the 14th Amendment for freedom and fight against immigrants? Not immigrants, fight against illegals.
Um, my feeling about this whole thing is summed up in the Elvis Presley song. I got a letter in the mailbox, and Mark's specialty. Right early next morning, it came right back to me. She wrote upon it, return the sender, address unknown, no such person, no such zone. Return the sender. Get the fuck out the country. You don't belong here. You didn't go through a process. We don't know what kind of diseases. You probably got an STD to make all my dicks fall off. You don't belong here. Go
How,
back. Have a revolution in your country against the people that screwed you. Don't come to America and take from the little broke ass American people. And how dare you not even really be Spanish and come to America and call yourself Spanish? And you identify with Europeans, and yet the European Spanish, where you come from, screw you, especially in Mexico. They're about 7% of the population and they own everything. And you come to America hating on black folks in the schools. No, go the fuck back where you came from. And I mean that. And am I saying anyone here lawfully? No. But if you just show up, I no. That nobody does it like that. You can't just go anywhere. You can't just go from Guatemala into Mexico. You know what? You know why? Like you said, a lot of people. The borders opened in 1965, and this is what keeps happening. You've got a psychotic group of people, like this guy I was talking about, Ludwig, the one that's the eugenicist, the statistician. All these people saying, "Oh, if we could just get the blacks to die off, fine." They want to destroy a population indigenous here so badly, they'll let 50, 60 million people come into the country. This stuff is catching up with you. Messing over, not treating people right comes with the consequence. However, They brought these people up there and says, oh, we're going to replace these people and bring you in. Like the former president of Mexico was saying that uh, Bush should let Mexicans come over and replace American blacks because they're lazy. This kind of conduct and behavior, I'm sick of. And in reality, if you come into a place that you don't have to follow the rules, they play for keeps, as you say. It's a takeover. And so it's not too long. The same way as those groups expand, so does the fentanyl trade. You and I both know the people who are the wholesalers of the dope that's sold in Dauphin County, Lancaster County, right? Right? It's all controlled by Latino thugs.
Yep.
And that will intensify. And the only way to save, and I'm gonna say this, if white America is so busy trying to kill black America because you can, that you won't save yourself from a fuck the niggas project that went south. It's you guys' asses. In fact, you guys pay more for fentanyl than we do. So who do you think is going to OD first?
What is, hold on. What's your thoughts, Dr. Short's opinion on Trump's statement in regards to Canada becoming the 51st state along with securing Greenland?
Well, you know what? There are more people in jail in New York State than there are in Greenland. And definitely more in California. Don't you think, sir, if what's on Greenland, and do you think the Chinese or other people will sit down and talk to those people if they want to take it? And if there are resources and other stuff there, do you think they're going to let someone else? Come on, we're talking about white corporate America. Uh, Nothing matters but profits and shareholders. If they know something about Greenland, you think they're not going to take it? Do you? Okay. Who's going to stop them? The Eskimos, the SEAL,
I'm waiting, I say so.
maybe killer whales? They can't do it. So let's just come back. So Greenland, it's a wrap. They have U.S. bases there. They could just take that shit. Like the Argentinians went into the Falklands. Now, this one, Canada. I think 80% of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border. Canada is largely unpopulated. Most of its people are concentrated in big cities: Calgary, Regina, Toronto, Montreal, Quebec City, Vancouver, Winnipeg, right? Edmonton, right? Halifax. So most Canadians live not too far from the American border. If Canada was an autonomous 51st state, wow, it would really mess with people's calculus of how this republic is put together. I mean, I think that there could be like a union, but for the Canadians to lose their sovereignty, although it's a big country with very few people in it, it might work. It might work if Canada's autonomous and they get to run stuff the way they want to, like a state runs things the way that they want to. I just don't know how adding 40 million people to the United States would be a incredible thing. Like, I think it would make some things better, make some things strange. That's my answer. I could see some good come out of it. I can see issues. Like, what if the French-speaking Canadians didn't want to be a part of the United States and wanted to be? If Canada's going to be dissolved as a nation, can we have a section of Quebec for French speakers if they really want, if the Quebecois want to do this? It could go odd ways, but keep going. You got another?
Couple more questions, then we're gonna call it a night.
Okay.
I got this question again, a flat earth theory. Can't speak on that. Dr. George won't speak on that.
Read it, tell me what it says.
I gotta ask this question again. Flat earth theory. What is it, Rodney? What's your question? He'll ask. Remember, you guys like, share, subscribe. That's the best way to support the channel. Dr. Short's Cash App information is on the screen, as well as my Cash App information is on the screen. Trust me, all the proceeds that people have donated to any of the platforms that we deal with always goes back into what we do, as far as books, information, StreamYard, and the like.
Yes, and expect more to come. Now, I got to tell you this.
What's the question? What's the question, Rodney? You put is true. I don't know what that
That's
means.
Rodney Mizell.
Yeah, flat Earth.
Yeah. Okay.
He said the question is flat Earth.
Okay. I don't really. That's like talking about the sky being blue. Sometimes people do that. If it is or isn't flat, the thing is I'm not Christopher Columbus, so I'm not worried about it. That's my response to that. I was going to tell you and remind you, and I'm hoping, and there's a possibility that we're going to be able to talk with Jaguar Wright one of these days on a nice big platform. And that's kind of weird. Really weird.
Rodney said yes or no.
I don't know. I told you I don't care. It's not important to me.
I'm not going to get into it, Rodney, to be honest with you. I know that we have Sister Azima. She comes on and she worked for NASA, and she said that the Earth is round.
I can't. No, I don't like that either. That's insulting. There are a lot of black folks, and they have this esoteric shit, and they like to argue it. It's big out of the Northeast. You guys in New York and Boston, like in Philly, they have these different esoteric groups. I don't care about any of it. In fact, I forgot to get my white Jesus. I could have made some people hang up.
Well, you guys, we're gonna close it down for the night.
Oh, you're falling asleep.
Appreciate it. I am getting tired, which is crazy.
I know. And you know what? I think these dummies got to me. Oh my God.
We're gonna probably, depending on how to I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'm gonna answer your question. You said why Jaguar Wright is schizo and bipolar and a liar who embellishes and mixes facts with half truths and outright lies.
Okay.
I can't say that about Jaguar Wright, me personally, and I won't use my platform to disparage her,
right,
in any way. And she has the right to say what she wants to say. Mm-hmm. And if somebody has a problem with her, sue her.
Sue her.
With that.
No. And I don't even want to talk about that. But if there's nothing to any of this, the police.
Look who just jumped in the chat.
Who?
Brother Lone Wolf. Dr. Short was talking about you today.
Oh yes, well we are talking about Lone Wolf. Look, Jaguar. I'm sick and tired of colored folks. We're talking about what would make black people better. To deal with the fact that we've got malevolent, wicked, degenerate, nasty, foul people amongst us who often get in higher positions because they're cutthroat and they'll cut deals with people they tell you not to talk to, frankly. And I'll say this straight up. And I don't care who doesn't like it. Those parties were nasty. in the 90s. It happened here at Howard and Howard DC. This stuff's been going on. It's not just them, but you know what? Their asses got caught. And I want to say to all the people that are standing and you support and you think these people represent Black wealth and achievement, I want to remind everybody that attorney Busby down in Texas has over 100 victims that are underage that were supposedly raped and molested at these freak-offs by all kinds of people. And they have video and other things, people. And I want to say to them, about a third of them are white. In particular, if it's a Black man that wrote, you can get your own throat cut. If in fact there's video of Black male adults hurting, raping white children, we're going to catch hell. And so for all of you that like these no good Pied Piper, Luciferian Negroes, some of us are going to pay with our lives when folk who are armed to the teeth and united and find relevant stuff to get behind decide to put a bullseye on one of our heads over an affront to their community. Because when these people see folks cheer on Diddy, and if there's any evidence that he's molested children of other ethnic groups of people, that is an act of war to all my stupid Black American associates who don't understand this is such thing as group dynamic conflict. And a lot of places, if you mess with their women or their children, a war commences. These folks will see that and they won't say, oh, those are people wilding at a party. They will say those niggas are running trains on our precious children. And who best to target or hurt when you're angry at the Black community? Lynching says Black men. So it's all of these dumb Black men that wish they had been on the list to go to the party because you think that kind of debaucherous living is something to aspire to. Y'all gonna pay. Those video pictures they can capture. What if they start doing RICO and arresting all the people on those tapes? You're going to see the mass incarceration of some of these A-list Negroes. And a lot of people who, mayors, politicians, if they went to that, they're going to go. And the face of it, no matter how many people are white, do you really think that they're going to represent the Diddy trial with all the white faces, or would it be with all the Black faces? Black faces. It's going to be OJ 2.0 for us. We're collectively going to be punished. So, in fact, Jaguar telling the truth, it's one Black person saying there's an issue. These people do stuff that's horrible to folks. And says, oh, someone out there that looks like them has a conscience, but the fact that we're silent about this, it's going to come to haunt us. Now, that's a promise for 2025. If there's footage of Blacks abusing sexually white children and people giving each other high five and laughing, we're going to pay for that. That's going to be played on all the things everywhere. They're not going to say it's the people at the party. They're going to say it's us. It's called collective punishment, and that's the way this country's worked for 400 years. And these no good bastards in the Boule and others have brought this, and they won't even stand with your defender. They can go to another country. They'll run away. So they'll throw a rock at a pack of Klansmen and run away next to your house. You get all burnt up. Not that you have to like the Klansmen, but you pay for their sin. We have to stop paying for the crimes of the Black elite. And if that's painful for you, you're not man enough to deal with reality intellectually. Diddy and them have hurt us. They've harmed us considerably. They've destroyed us morally and ethically. They've been Pied Pipers of genocide by drugs, death, and wickedness, Luciferian, Bohemian behavior in our community. Whether you think so or not, the fact that if you don't think so, you've got a problem. We're being destroyed. And they're helping and they're getting rich, and they're folks who aspire to have a champagne flute next to someone that has spiked baby oil. And who is the baby oil for? Don't use it for adults.
with that, we're gonna close it out. Hopefully we'll be back. If not tomorrow, I don't think.
Hang in here. We got 5 minutes. We can count down.
Oh yeah, bring the new year, brother Juan. I seen you just came through in the chat and spoke. And how you doing tonight? Dr. Short thought you was going to expose him.
No, it's look, my friend, there's a lot to happen. 2025 is going to be the year of the busted pimp.
Ebony said they've helped to destroy our music, our artists, and our ability to take control of our music.
That's absolutely right. And so why is somebody defending that? Maybe they want to be at one of those after parties. But anybody that wants to party with Diddy, especially if you're a man, and you know that these people are booty bandits, and they will drug you even if you didn't want to go there for it and give it to you anyway. You have to kind of be twisted to want to be around such people.
I think one of the things with Jaguar, and if she does come on the platform, I will ask her, is that sometimes in our community, we blame the victim. I saw something earlier where there was a victim of, well-known victim of African Bambaataa. And I saw individuals talking and disparaging the victim.
Well, you know,
basically like attacking his manhood because he was a victim of a sexual crime.
Well, see, we need to stop. See, I like the Bible that says there's none righteous, no, not one. If you run around and say, oh, well, because black people have been oppressed and hurt by white people, they're literally more moral and decent than other people are, you're deceived. There's the ability to be great human beings and the ability to be wicked human beings, depending on the choice. So we shouldn't be surprised that you'll find there's certain black folks who they're on the side of whoever's strong. In particular, we're more like that than other people because we're tired of being powerless. A lot of us have Stockholm syndrome. And I would just say to you about Africa Bambaataa, you've got to have Sister Keisha. It was a sister that pressured people to go after Africa Bambaataa, a friend of mine. But most people were willing to look at it's the same way people, there's all kinds of awful things that happen in our community, and we never deal with it. And we just leave all sleeping dogs lying. Just don't disturb, don't stand up, don't speak up, don't do this, don't get involved. I mean, basically, be a goddamn turtle with 2 legs.
Yeah, we do this in our community a lot, Dr. Short. We literally we'll praise the person committing the crime and look down on the victim. It's a weird thing that we have going on.
Mm-hmm. And so therefore nothing surprising. And what the thing about it that I'd say of Jag is that you've been doing this for a while. And my question is, why just Pierce Morgan? Why not Real Life and the other people? Why not shut all of these people down?
I think the thing about it is just most people, the reason why she don't go on certain platforms is because most people will assume because of her mental state that she's not equipped to be saying what she's saying. But they don't, their inability to be able to hear what a person's saying and be able to take what a person's saying and understand that she may be a victim, not just financially, in business. It could be a whole slew of things.
You've been traumatized, but the issue is, this is what I don't like about Black Americans. If you have a history and a reputation of being a straight shooter and telling the truth, if one time out of maybe 25 or 30 you were mistaken, that shouldn't cancel all the times you were right. We tend to look for you messed up once, I don't have to listen to you ever. But the people who lie every day on the radio or television, they believe it.
Yeah.
So the people that lie all the time have nothing to prove, and the people that tell the truth or are trying to tell the truth have to be so perfect, and the standard's very high for the people that are doing what's right, and the standard doesn't exist at all for the ones that are doing what's wrong. That extends to relationships and marriages and almost everything. Nothing that's grounded has the same value as something that's bullshit. I mean, how you marry, who you get with, what you listen to, where you get something really serious and grounded doesn't get a consideration. In an age of information, that's a group or collective suicide death wish. And so my saying is, there's nothing more tragic than an ignorant Negro in the information age. It's an age to be intelligent. It's an age to stop being stupid. And it's inexcusable. We have maybe half of the Black men in this country can't read or have problems, severe problems reading. So they're functionally illiterate or illiterate. How the hell is that possible? And how is that common? And talk to any bus driver, or you have it happen. Certain people come and ask you, which bus is it? Because they don't know the numbers, whatever. I mean, you live in the damn country and you don't know numbers and shit. You've never seen that? Start taking the bus, you'll notice a lot of Black folks will ask you that the bus is right in front of them, ask you to tell them what bus it is. They don't really want directions.
My
They
thing,
want
Dr.
you to
Short.
tell them the bus because they can't read it. And fake it. Why not learn how to read? I mean, come on, it was something you couldn't do, and now you're free. It seems like one thing you should know how to do is read. You got all these
Dr.
people out here.
My favorite thing now is when I do spend something with cash, is people don't know how to give you the proper change back. So you always got to double check what they're giving you because they don't even know. You have a cash register that's basically a computer telling
Well, you
you
know
what
what?
to
As
give you
long
back.
as they give you too much, it's okay.
I've had that a lot too, and it were younger clerks.
Well,
I thought that they should have known how to.
you know what I've noticed? They started putting black males on the registers. I must have said, what's that? Normally they have them doing they put the guys up. Some people don't know what's going on. But look, it's 2025, everyone. We've made it into another year. So we can say no pimp jive in 25. Pimps are going to catch hell this year. If you're some kind of a pimp manipulator, user, you're going to get beat down. You're going to bleed out in the pavement of life. I just love it.
Okay, he said good, Jaguar's crew with the Roots.
She's what?
Nah, the group she was part of the Roots. No, shouldn't ask brother Annie Ansara about Jaguar, right? But I support her on the truth she speaks, especially Diddy and Jay-Z and those in the Roots crew. Those are the people she was around.
Notice that I didn't talk that much about it. What would be interesting to me is that she's related to Kenneth Gamble. I've always been fascinated by the Philadelphia international music. Always. That's closer to me than Motown. Although I love Motown. So Motown and Philly are my favorite thing.
Oh, so Ebony, we jumping the gun for New Year's for you because you're in Chicago, right? We're an hour ahead of you. So, but anyway, you guys in the chat, appreciate everybody for joining us.
Is Ebony sending me a wedding proposal?
We hopefully we'll be back soon, very, very, very soon. If not, maybe tomorrow I can get Dr. Short. I can get him right. See, I need to get Dr. Short right before he messes with his gummy bears, you guys.
Oh yeah, today was such an embarrassment. I feel like Kamala in that post-election interview when she was like the drunken aunt type person or the crackhead slut girlfriend of someone.
We're gonna continue. Don't give up the fight. Fight,
Well,
fight.
fight, fight meant something else to her. I know what she's made don't give though. It's probably a word for sex toy. But anyway, um,
Well, Jay Braggs. I'm gonna just talk about the. I don't know if Jaguar coming on this or any other platform will make it explode. One thing that I noticed, platforms explode for various reasons. I appreciate on this platform. I appreciate those who choose to come on. All is invited. I mean, I'm the type of person that I will let a person speak all day long. I mean, I grew up in North Jersey, so I know the party scene. So Jaguar won't be telling me not too much of the stuff that I don't already know. Maybe I won't talk about it because I choose not to talk about it, because a lot of things that I get upset about is these older people who lived a certain white life and lifestyle who want to embellish the things they used to do. And some of the things that we used to do when we were 25, 26, 27, 28, let it be where it's at. It's not just your truth to tell, because you're not just talking about what you did, you're talking about what somebody else did. And I'm never going to be the one to be talking about nobody else that I used to run with or hang with or be friends with, their business. I'm going to leave that where it's at. And even when we did the Pat Talk the other day, when we were talking about Fat Joe, I used some very colorful language. And I want to apologize because I try not to use the type of language, but I was so upset and passionate about what we were talking about, because when you're a certain age and you've been through a lot of stuff and done a lot of stuff, you should be trying to talk about things that you did, not to glorify it, embellish it, romanticize it, make it seem like it was all good at your age now. And the reality is a lot of people died. A lot of people are on drugs. A lot of stuff happened. And we have an obligation to pass it on to the youngest, that they don't have to make the same mistakes that a lot of us made. That's our right. That's our obligation to them. So hopefully Jaguar Wright will come on and she'll just talk. She might come up here, and if you heard her sing, she can still sing. She might come here with that beautiful voice and start singing. Ronald Trump, as y'all see, has entered the building. He wanted to give us a proclamation going into 2025.
I just want everybody out there to have a good time. Be careful. There are a lot of illegal migrants on the road. You don't want to lose your family, not over somebody that's been eating enchiladas for most of their lives. So I want to wish everybody a happy 2025. And please remember to vote red. For the next 10 years, I don't think I want to leave office. I want them to carry me out. I think I'm going to need lots of time, because you guys let them steal the election from me. And there was no reason for that. You did it. You let it happen. Now you have Joe. He's fucked up everything. I'm going to fix it. But I need time. Work with me. And I want to say to the Black Americans, you didn't give me a chance, but a few more of you guys took a stand. More of you need to vote against these hoes that just want to abort you, put you in prison. And I treated you better than anyone. I've been the greatest president. I'm your greatest friend. I love every one of you, except for you guys that are broke. So God bless America. Happy New Year.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
That's right. I approve everything.
You guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
What do you have to lose?
lately? It's Coons. What have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, you know, the only thing we owe them